Buying a house is a big deal. It's a big investment. It's not like buying a shirt at Walmart and if it's the wrong size, you return it. When you buy a house and if it's the wrong house, you can't just turn around and take it back or sell it. In this video, we're going to talk about the reasons that I got into this whole for sale by owner thing, because I met some people that have gotten themselves into a jam due to circumstances beyond their control. Sometimes people buy a house and it's just not the right fit. It's just not the right house. At the time, maybe it was, but they move in and it's not. Or sometimes people buy a house and something bad happens beyond their control. Something like they lose a job, or their girlfriend or wife leaves them, or they get a job transfer and the job transfer isn't helping with moving. I mean, it could be any number of things. Say you're a vet and you use your VA benefits and you bought a house with no money down. Or say you use some kind of FHA financing first-time homebuyer program where you didn't have to put money down and they paid your closing costs. Or you asked the seller to pay your closing costs for you. So right there, you have no equity in the house whatsoever. And so if you buy it, say, for $200,000, and then something happens and you have to sell it right away, and you hire a realtor, well, they're going to charge you 5, 6, 7%. So at $200,000, that's $12,000 you got to come up with. And if you're selling that house like within a year, more than likely the value has not risen that much where you're going to at least break even. Now, even when you put a little bit of money down, it's still kind of not a great deal, because you know, you could still end up paying money to close. You still could end up bringing money to closing, but you're certainly not gonna make anything, because you haven't built any equity in the house, and you're gonna sell it basically for around what you bought it for. And the reason this comes up today is because I'm in a house like that right now at this moment, where I helped a young man buy a house a year and 4 months ago. He's a nice young kid. He really had it together, had a great job, has a girlfriend and they have a baby. But as soon as he bought the house, a few months later, he lost his job, and then his girlfriend left him. And now he's still living here, but you know, he needs to sell it because he can't afford this big mortgage payment. And so he called me. And even though I'm giving him a good deal, he's still gonna be underwater. He was a vet and he didn't put any money down, and we asked the seller to pay the closing costs when we bought the house. So he's done everything right that we talked about. He's really cleaned it up nicely. He's fixed anything that was broken. He actually had to pay some money to have a wall fixed downstairs. You can see the kitchen is clean, the countertops are clean, except for my stuff at the open house, and of course COVID, sanitizer and such. You know, kitchen's clean, the house is definitely not cluttered. The problem is he has absolutely no equity in his house, and he has to sell it. Can't afford the mortgage payments. So he uses VA benefits, so he had a VA funding fee that was rolled into the loan. There's a couple extra $1,000. We asked the seller to pay the closing costs for him. There was another $6,000 or $7,000 that they raised the price to cover those. So he literally owes more than the contract price after a year and 4 months, because we all know that, you know, in the beginning all you pay is interest on a loan. So now we're going to try to sell the house and at least have him break even so that he can, you know, go out and get on with his life. But it's not easy. So I'm going to try to convince him again to do a for sale by owner and see if he can put this, because if he puts his house on the market through all the things that we talked about, listed himself, tries to avoid a buyer's agent, doesn't have to pay any commissions, he can sell this house easily tomorrow in this market, easily tomorrow. And, you know, then he'd be out of trouble, he'd be out of his house, and he'd be done. So that's one of the reasons why I got into this whole for sale by owner thing. Back when I started in real estate in 2009 was during the great financial crisis. And I ran into a lot of people that had lost their jobs, that were having to sell their houses, that were getting foreclosed on, that were having to do short sales. And they would want to short sell their house so they could avoid foreclosure. And I would tell them, why don't you just sell it by yourself? And of course, everybody thinks that is so complicated and they can't do it. And that's why, you know, I started this whole thing, so to try to teach people that, yeah, you can do it. It takes a little bit of work. I mean, it's not always easy. Sometimes things come up. If you do everything right and you're really careful about it, it's less times that things come up. But even if you have a realtor and things come up, they're still going to happen. That was the reason that I originally got into helping people learn how to sell their house themselves. It was to help these people that were in a jam, that were up against the wall, that were in a bad place. And I continued because I can see the future. Now I've gone full bore with this YouTube channel, with our website, teaching people how to sell their house themselves. Because I believe sooner rather than later, home sellers are going to figure it out. More and more are going to start doing for sale by owners because it's much more profitable. And with all the technology at our fingertips, it's not nearly as difficult as they might think. So if you're selling your house, or if you're planning on selling a house anytime in the near future, subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be coming back often with tips and strategies to help you sell your house by yourself and make more money doing it. In fact, in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to be doing a series of getting your house ready for market, which may sound like a no-brainer, but it's really important that you do the things that you need to do when you're preparing your house to make it irresistible to buyers, because that's what gives you the best negotiating position, is making it so the buyers will not walk away because your house is just everything that they always dreamed of. So stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.